The moment I launched this game, I knew something was wrong. Not the usual kind of cheap horror wrong, not just spooky music and glitchy filters. This felt heavier, like the game itself didn't want to be played. The title screen was nothing but fog, rolling endlessly, and in the middle, pulsing in faint red, was just two words: Slenderman Returns. No music, no clicks, just silence and this buzzing hum, like standing under power lines. I stared at the screen, and it felt like it was staring back. I knew I shouldn't press start, but of course I did. And the second I did, I wished I hadn't. Suddenly, I was in a forest. No tutorial, no instructions, just me. Darkness everywhere, mist pressing in so thick I almost felt like I was choking on it. My footsteps crunched against the ground, way too loud, like every sound I made was announcing where I was. And in the corner of my vision, a little sound meter appeared, ticking up with every move. That's when it hit me. Something was listening. My chest tightened. I froze in place. If I kept moving, whatever was out there would hear me. But standing still didn't feel any safer, because when I looked at those trees, I swore some of them weren't just trees. Their twisted branches bent like arms reaching toward me, and in the dark, the bark looked like faces. Hollow, watching faces, and then I saw it, just barely visible ahead, something nailed to a tree, a piece of paper flapping slightly in the wind. My gut twisted, but I walked toward it anyway, because of course I did. The closer I got, the more wrong it looked. Like it didn't belong there, and when I finally reached it, I froze. Scrawled across the paper in messy, jagged handwriting were the words, "He's watching." The second I touched it, everything changed. The screen rattled, static screamed in my ears, and then I heard it. A low, awful hum, deep, vibrating, almost inside my skull. My heart was racing. My fingers froze on the keyboard. I knew exactly what that sound meant. He was here, he was awake, and if that was true, then it was already too late. But what happened when I turned around? That's where everything went wrong. I didn't want to look behind me. Every instinct screamed, don't turn around. But that static in my ears kept building, louder and louder, like a swarm of bees right inside my head. And finally I gave in. I turned. Nothing. At least nothing I could see. But the fog felt different now. Thicker. Closer. Like it was alive. Pressing against me. Trying to keep me from moving. I told myself it was just the game's atmosphere. But my hands were already shaking on the mouse. I forced myself to move, one slow step at a time, scanning left and right. Every tree looked the same, every shadow stretched too far. And the sound meter at the corner of the screen, it twitched with every crunch of my footsteps. I swear, I could almost feel something following the sound. Then I heard it, a twig snapping. Not me, not this time. I stopped breathing, froze completely. My chat was spamming, he's there, he's there. I didn't see anything, but that made it worse. It meant he could see me, even if I couldn't see him. I pushed forward, faster now, half running, half stumbling through the mist. That's when I spotted another note. Same messy handwriting, pinned crookedly to a tree. My gut told me not to touch it, not to take it, but of course, this game wasn't going to let me walk away. I grabbed it, static ripped across the screen, my flashlight flickered, and for the briefest second I saw him. Tall, wrong, his face. No, not a face. Just a blank, pale nothing where a face should be. Arms too long, fingers reaching like claws. Standing between the trees, just far enough that I couldn't see clearly. I froze. My heart was racing so fast it hurt. The game didn't scream at me, didn't throw a jump scare. It just let me see him, quiet, still, waiting. I blinked and he was gone. That was worse than if he'd attacked me right then, because now I knew he wasn't just out there, he was hunting. Watching me stumble around, waiting for the perfect moment. The static buzz faded, but it never went away completely. It was like background noise now, a constant reminder that he was near. And then the worst thing happened. My flashlight started to dim, flicker, like the batteries were dying. Every few seconds, the light would blink out, and I'd be standing in complete, suffocating black. And each time it came back on, I swore the trees had shifted, closer, narrower, trapping me. I tried to laugh it off, to tell myself it was just graphics, just game mechanics. But deep down, it felt like the forest was pushing me where it wanted me to go, hurting me like prey. And then I heard it again, that same low hum vibrating in my chest, rattling in my teeth. I spun around, flashlight flickering, scanning the mist, the trees, everything. Nothing, but I knew he was there. And when I looked down at the ground, I noticed something I hadn't before. Footprints, not mine, way too long, spaced way too far apart, leading deeper into the woods, so, of course, I followed them. And that's when I realized these weren't footprints leading away from me. They were leading straight toward me. Those footprints stopped me cold. They weren't mine, too big, too long, almost stretched, and the way they pointed, it was like they had been coming right at me. My stomach dropped. I wanted to back away, to turn around and run, but I couldn't, because the second I moved, that static slammed into my ears again. Not just a little buzz this time, full-on screeching, ripping through my headphones. I whipped my flashlight around, and for just half a second, there he was again. Tall, pale, standing dead center in the mist, my breath caught in my throat. He didn't move. He didn't need to. The screen started warping, bending, like the whole game was melting just because he was near. I bolted. No more creeping carefully. I sprinted through the forest, crashing into branches, the sound meter exploding with every step. My chat was going insane, screaming at me to stop, to hide, but my brain was on fire. All I could think was, don't let him catch you. Don't look back. The trees blurred together as I ran, but then I hit something. A fence, just a tall, rusted chain link wall disappearing into the fog. Trapped, no way out. My flashlight flickered again, and when it came back on, he was closer. Still not moving, but closer. The static roared. The screen bent and twisted, like it wanted to cave in. I backed away, stumbling along the fence line, heart pounding so hard I could hear it. That's when I spotted another note nailed to the wire. I didn't want to touch it, but it felt like the only way forward. I grabbed it. The words scrawled across it barely made sense. Don't run. And instantly, I heard it. Branches snapping, leaves crunching, heavy, dragging footsteps in the fog. Not mine. He was moving now. I panicked, sprinting deeper into the forest, flashlight beam swinging wildly. Every few steps the screen warped again. The static screeched louder, like he was right on my heels. I ducked behind a tree, pressed myself against it, barely breathing. The sound died down. For a moment, it was quiet again. Too quiet, and then I felt it. Not saw, felt, like the temperature dropped 20 degrees at once. Like something was standing right behind me, tall enough to block the sky. I didn't want to look. Every part of me screamed not to turn. But the game wasn't going to let me stand there forever, so I turned, and he was there, closer than ever. His faceless head tilting, arms stretching just slightly toward me. The screen shattered into static, the sound stabbing into my skull. I screamed, slammed the controls, bolted through the trees, and that's when I realized the forest wasn't random. The paths weren't leading me to safety. They were leading me straight back into him. Every turn, every corner, it was like he was waiting. And the worst part, the notes I'd been collecting, they weren't just random warnings. They were pulling me deeper into his game. I don't even know how long I'd been running at that point. My sense of direction was gone. Left, right, forward, everything looked the same. The mist swallowed the trees swallowed the path, and I was just this little flashlight beam cutting through endless dark. But no matter where I went, he was always there. Sometimes just a glimpse, sometimes nothing more than the edge of a shoulder. Other times, full-on standing in front of me, tall and unnatural, like he'd been waiting the whole time. The notes kept appearing, scattered through the forest, almost taunting me. Every time I saw one, I thought, maybe this is progress. Maybe this means I'm getting closer to the end. But deep down, it felt like a trap, like each one was pulling me further into his territory. And with each note I picked up, the static grew worse. The air got heavier, my screen bent harder, twisting like it wanted to collapse into itself. My flashlight dimmed faster, flickering every couple of seconds until I was running blind half the time. At one point, I stumbled into this clearing, a playground, rusted swings, a broken slide, half buried in weeds. It should have felt like a safe spot, but instead it was worse, because what was a playground doing in the middle of nowhere? Who put it here? And then I saw the swing moving back and forth, slow, no wind, just moving on its own. I swear I stopped breathing, my chest locked up. The game was silent, no music, no jump scare, just the soft creak of metal swinging back and forth. And then the static slammed back in. My flashlight cut out completely, darkness when it flickered back on. He was standing right there at the end of the slide. Still watching, I panicked, ran without even thinking, tearing out of that clearing as fast as I could. My screen warped so badly I could barely see, the static nearly drowning out my own thoughts, and behind me, faint but clear, I swear I heard it footsteps. Long, dragging steps, keeping pace with me. I ducked through the trees, stumbled into another note, barely even read it before snatching it up. The words burned into my brain anyway, can't escape. The second I touched it, the forest went dead quiet again. And that's when I realized something terrifying. This wasn't random anymore. He wasn't just spawning in front of me at random points. He was learning. Every time I ran, every time I hid, every note I picked up, it was like he was watching, studying, waiting for the moment I'd slip, and I swear, it felt like that moment was coming fast, because when I turned the next corner, flashlight shaking in my hands, the path ended. A dead end, and standing there, filling the space between the trees was him, closer than ever, dead end. No way forward. The flashlight beam froze on him, tall, stretched, arms dangling like ropes, face a pale void that almost glowed in the dark. My whole body went cold. I didn't move, couldn't. The static clawed at my ears, louder and louder, the screen twitching like it was about to tear apart. I yanked the mouse, trying to turn, but every time I looked away, he was closer. I'd spin left, he was there. Spin right closer still. The game wasn't giving me space anymore. It was closing in. I ran anyway, sprinting blindly, smashing through the trees, branches cracking, the sound meter maxed out. I didn't care about stealth anymore. It was just pure survival instinct screaming in my head. Run, run, run. But then it started happening. The game glitched. At least, I thought it was a glitch. My footsteps sounded delayed, like there was a second pair stomping half a beat behind mine. My flashlight flickered, and in the flashes, I swear I saw shadows, long arms, stretched legs, matching me stride for stride. I hit another clearing, lungs burning, fingers cramping on the controls. And that's when the game did something new. A whisper, low, broken, like a voice dragged across static. Don't look. I froze. My chest tightened so hard it hurt. Because that wasn't part of any Slenderman game I'd ever seen before. I tried to laugh it off, tell myself maybe it was audio design, maybe an Easter egg. But then it spoke again. Don't look back. And here's the thing. My mic was muted. Nobody should have been able to hear me. Nobody should have been able to answer. But that whisper, it was responding. I couldn't take it. I turned. And there he was, inches away, the screen shattered into pure static. No trees, no ground, just white noise burning into my eyes. I screamed so loud my own voice cracked. When the static finally cut out, I was standing somewhere new. Not the forest, not the paths, a room, concrete walls, damp, dripping, a single light bulb flickering above. Notes scattered everywhere, plastered across the walls in the same jagged handwriting, phrases repeated over and over: he is here, no eyes, can't escape. My heart was pounding so hard I could hear blood in my ears, and for the first time in the whole game I couldn't move. The controls didn't work. My character just stood there, locked in place, and then the bulb above me flickered. Once, twice, darkness, and in that darkness, I heard breathing, not mine, low, ragged, right behind me. I wanted to quit. I wanted to shut the whole game down, but I couldn't. My fingers wouldn't leave the keyboard. It felt like the game wasn't letting me, and that's when I realized something I didn't want to admit. This didn't feel like a game anymore. I sat frozen in that room. Concrete walls, notes everywhere, no way out. The whispering hadn't stopped. It circled around me, low, distorted, like it was coming from inside my headphones and inside my skull at the same time. The bulb above me flickered again, and the second the light came back, he was there, filling the room. So tall his head scraped the ceiling, arms stretched wide like he was blocking every possible escape. The static tore through the screen, the sound splitting into shrieks that rattled my teeth. I slammed the keys, trying to move, trying anything, but it didn't matter. My character was locked in place like the game was saying, "This is it," and then everything went black. Silence. I sat there staring at my monitor, not sure if the game had crashed or if it was part of the design. My chest was still heaving, my palms sweating on the keyboard. For a moment, I thought maybe that was the end. Maybe it was over, but then, faintly on that pitch-black screen, words began to appear. "You can't escape him." The text glowed red for a second, then faded. And without me touching a single key, the game restarted. Back at the title screen, fog rolling, the hum buzzing. The words "Slenderman Returns" pulsing in the dark. Like it was daring me to play again. I just sat there, shook my head, and I'll be honest, there's no way I'm launching that again at night. Safe to say, if Slenderman really has returned, I don't think he's leaving anytime soon. Laughs nervously, leans back, and if you actually want me to play this game again, yeah, you're insane. But hey, hit that like button if you enjoy watching me suffer. Subscribe if you're new, and maybe, I'll give Slenderman one more shot. Though, honestly, I don't think I want to see what happens if I do.